Governors in southern Nigeria have demanded that Nigeria's presidency should come to the south in 2023. The governors rose from a meeting in Lagos on Monday where they reviewed the state of the nation, especially the security situation, anti-open grazing law in all member states. They also reiterated their demand for state police. Arise News Tokunbo Oyetunji has the details.
The Southern Governors Forum, at the end of its meeting held today, reviewed the situation in the country and focused on the current security situation, constitutional amendments, and petroleum industry bill. The forum reviewed the security situation in the country and commended the security operatives for their relentless efforts in restoring security and safety. We commiserate with families and loved ones who have fallen in the line of duty. The forum re-emphasized the need for state police. The forum set a timeline of Wednesday, the 1st of September 2021 for the promulgation of the anti-grazing law in all its member states.
All right, to dissect the details, let's bring in Arise News analyst Mahmud Jega. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight. All right, what a day it's been for the southern governors. And of course, they did come out with a communique there in Lagos. Let's, underscore the fact that from that meeting, the southern governors reaffirmed their commitment to the unity of Nigeria on the pillars of equity, fairness, justice, progress, and peaceful coexistence between and amongst its people. All right, let's itemize some of the things they demanded. They're saying, no doubt, that the presidency come 2023 must rotate to the southern part of the country. Underscore must. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think there is already a developing consensus in that direction. And the right thing to do is to work to consolidate the consensus, especially in the two major parties. Because you see, it is not something that can be enforced by law. In 1998-99, there was a consensus among all the major politicians that the presidency should rotate to the south. But some northerners contested, like in the PDP primaries, Alhaji Abubakar Rimi contested. And they thought it's better to let him contest, because if you try to stop him legally, he could go to court. So let him contest, but he will not win because there was a consensus among all the major players. And right now we have so many political parties. So you see, even if, let's say there is an agreement among the two major parties that they should produce only candidates from southern Nigeria, nothing stops the smaller parties from fielding candidates from anywhere. And that could unsettle the major parties, because you have to look at it and say, well, if we do this and this small party takes a candidate from there and the votes go there, so it's politics, basically.
Among the southern governors, there seems to be an equal divide of APC and PDP. Both, are agreeing as far as this is concerned. All right.
All right, well, from their communique, still talking about the communique that Ngozi talked about, they have set a deadline of September the 1st for promulgating anti-open grazing, the law in all member states. Now, what's your sense of this particular decision? Is all for the South? What's your sense of this decision by the governors?
Well, they have been talking about it for quite some time, and they have now set a timeline. So what they have to do is to formulate probably executive bills and get their state assemblies to pass it. But of course, the issue will still be that that enough time to really move people around and move the cattle around, or provide alternative ranching or grazing routes, or even if you are relocating all the pastoralists back to the northern states, it may still take some time. So those are issues that need to work out. Maybe the September timeline may be not very...
But what do you envisage? Do you see some kind of coalition course, or will this pitch the southern governors against the federal government with this stance?
You see, personally, I thought that if you are looking for quick solutions to some pressing national issues, it is not the best to regionalize every issue. Many of the issues that the southern governors raised today in their communique were not really regional issues. For example, if you say the NNPC under the PIB should be owned by the Sovereign Wealth Authority.
That was the question I was going to
instead of Ministry of Finance. You could take that issue, for example, to the Nigeria Governors Forum, and there will be a consensus. Every governor probably will agree. Or even the issue of the money in the police security trust fund should be shared among the states. It's not a regional issue. And some other issues are pure politics, like the transmission of results. It's not a regional north-south
yes, definitely
issue.
We'll come to all of those, because we're actually going to break it down to
let's look at steel on their communique, in commending. One thing that was quite salient about their communique was the fact that they did give kudos to where kudos should be given to. They commended the NAS for passing the PIB, but rejected the 3% for host communities and the 30% profit oil exploration, of oil in frontier basins. Nothing is ever really perfect, but almost the whole nation was celebrating the fact that PIB has eventually been passed. But okay, so this is what is coming out of it. So what do you think of their statement?
Well, of course, we should argue over the details. As you said, we congratulate ourselves that after nearly 2 decades, the PIB bill is finally being passed. But of course, you don't expect everybody to agree on every little detail. And really, there is even no point splitting hairs. If you want to conduct oil exploration in the basins, you don't even have to set aside money from the oil production, provided the survey shows that these fields are very promising. You can always get international oil companies to invest their own money and do the exploration, provided you reach the right agreements with them. I don't think it's an issue that we should be splitting too much hairs over.
Okay, well, there seems to be a lot of hair splitting when it comes to the issue of security. Let's talk about that, because I mean, the southern governors re-emphasized the need for state police. They've been talking about this for a while. They also resolved that if for any reason security institutions need to undertake an operation in any state, the chief security officer of the state must be duly informed. Of course, in this case, it's the executive governor of the state. In the event that there's a state policing, does it preclude the federal government from carrying out its security operations in any state?
Definitely it does not. If you are going to have a federal police alongside state police, then you have to define the powers very carefully. Like in the US, there are certain crimes that are federal, and also if you commit a state offense but you cross a state boundary, then the FBI comes in. You have to define very carefully. Otherwise, like in our own case, you may end up with a shootout, even a shootout between federal and state police. But you see, again, these two issues could also be really tackled in the Nigeria Governors Forum. I think like every governor will agree that before security agencies carry out a major operation in his state, he should be informed as the chief law officer. And even the issue of state police, there is growing consensus among all the governors across the country for a state police, although they are fierce.
All right, just very quickly, the issue of the electoral amendment bill, the removing and introducing came in. What will be the impact if there is no electronic transfer of results by INEC, if eventually it's passed like that?
Well, as one lawyer quickly pointed out, right now there is no provision in the Electoral Act for the electronic transmission of results. But the controversy is that they want to put a provision to stop it. Now that is not ideal at all. And I think this is a matter also that should be tackled at the level of the political parties. Again, it is not a regional issue. Every part of the country is involved, and it has to do with the integrity and the transparency of elections, and we should all work for that. I don't think any part of the country stands to benefit if elections are not transparent.
Transmitted electronically.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, we'll leave it there. All right, thank you so much. Thank you. Mahmud Jega there.